Welcome to another episode of Not My Favorite, the podcast. It's sunglass episode. That's everybody does one where they're in the sunglasses. Yeah. I might take them off like halfway through. Who knows? It could be annoying. I'm just trying to look like cool, dude. Fucking, I'm a cool podcast, bro.
Who's the first podcaster you saw do that?
Good point. I don't know.
No, I didn't. They always do. Tim Dillon does. Tim Dillon wears.
Oh yeah, probably Tim's. I only ever see Tim's clips, and Shane. I've seen a couple clips. I think one where he was actually outdoors. Rogan.
Yeah,
but that was like a bit. I think him and Duncan Trussell were doing. Who knows? I don't care.
Everybody always abandoned it so fast.
Was that
you abandoned it so fast?
I don't really care. I'm not the type of. I am the type of person. If a bit's not working, I will drop it immediately. My penchant need for wanting attention. You know what's funny is I think people think because this podcast is called Not My Favorite that I'm talking about a thing every week that sucks or something like that. And then also because the clips have been like Gary Owen, the parasocial relationships thing. But the origin for it, I have a joke in my act. A lot of comics, I think, have when they have a podcast, at least some of the title is like the Get Her Done podcast, or like the whatever their slogan might be.
Yeah, Two Silly Gooses.
Sure.
It's slogan. Yeah.
Yeah, like the slogan, like
hamburger.
What's that? Hamburger. Yeah, something like that. I don't know. Something that's like pointing to their act. And mine is just like, I had this joke for years. It's one of the first jokes I ever wrote, and I told it for a decade. Easily a decade. I've been doing comedy longer than a decade. And I put it on the special, and I made t-shirts for it, sold a lot of t-shirts, like 300 t-shirts. Wow. But the last t-shirt I ran out of, I said, I'm never telling the joke again. But it's funny because it was indicative of like the first end of my career. So I call it like Not My Favorite, because it's just like, it's a joke I'll never tell again.
Yeah.
And it's also like, I need a name of a podcast anyways. I'm going to call it the Derek Humphrey Experience or something, So we were talking though before this, we were talking about, what were we talking about right before he picked up with the walk?
I don't even remember.
Oh my God, we're dumb.
That's so the dumb. Stupidest thing.
Yeah, people are gonna listen in and be like, "You idiots."
Yeah.
Well, no, because originally we were talking about the Me Too thing, and then we were talking about, oh my God,
the back end of YouTube and stuff.
The back end of YouTube,
subscribers and all that.
Subscribers and things of that nature. Yeah, and tags and everything like that.
Cut this so it's fast.
Yeah. Well, it's just so funny because like I need to promo the podcast in some capacity, and I should make like a promo video or something. I'm very bad at promotion. But I was talking about not caring anymore. This year, like, I don't know, my career has gotten better every year that I've like put effort into it. Mm-hmm. Some years I didn't put any effort into it because I just like doing comedy.
Of course. And
now I'm at the point where it's like I'm kind of like over being like the comics comic. Because I don't know. I don't even know if I ever really was that for some people, but that's what I kind of feel like. And anyways, but instead of like I don't know. I've had like some industry opportunities, and the industry has said like, we like you, but you're not like the next thing, which is fine.
Okay.
Like JFL.
Yeah.
I auditioned for JFL last year. I might get one this year. Who knows? But I've seen they have like a whole bunch of different shows and things like that now. And part of the thing with the Not My Favorite joke was that it was like part of a clean set of comedy. Mm-hmm. And I think I really kind of lacked an identity in comedy, because some people would come up and be like, you're like kind of a clean comic, right? And then I go do like the Nate Land showcase, and they're like, oh, you're not a clean comic.
Yeah.
And so it's just, I didn't have like this footing in comedy. And I went to Comedians You Should Know last night.
Mhm.
Unfortunately, the last show is happening. CYSK has been around for like 10 years,
Yeah.
and it's the last holdover show, I think, from the pre-COVID era of like what were like the hot shows.
Okay.
It was like the Knitting Factory. There was probably like a Union Hall show. Eugene Merman had a show, but then he gave that off to Janelle James.
Mm.
And then there was Cabin back in the day, which was like the hot bar show.
Okay.
The Creek Cave Live was like, it just wasn't like a showcase at a comedy club. And CYSK, Comedians You Should Know, started in Chicago. They had one over here in New York. And it's just kind of where everybody kind of gravitated towards. When you got one of those shows, it was like, oh, I'm a cool, good comic.
Yeah.
You know, whatever that might mean to somebody. It's an esteeming show. You feel esteemed about yourself. And then other comics were like, oh, cool, you got that show. Like it's a marker of something.
Yeah.
I remember it was like right before the pandemic. It was maybe March of 2018, 2019 or something like that. I remember posting about, I'd never done Caroline's, the Bell House, or Comedians You Should Know. And I did them all in 1 month.
Nice.
And that's why I felt like things were like kind of progressing. But the thing I really like about Comedians You Should Know is that it does do a blend of like alt and club comics,
Mm-hmm.
right? So, but mainly alt. Joe Pera,
Yeah, of course.
Dan Licata, Joe Firestone, Aparna. I love those comics because I can't do what they do.
Yeah.
Like they're such thoughtful people. Last night, Kurt Braunohler
Okay.
was on
Wow.
it. Yeah. Lisa Traeger was on it.
Yeah.
And Lisa Traeger is great.
She's around a lot though.
She is around a lot. No, and she's got industry.
Yeah, not in a bad way.
Yeah. She's got industry heat. She's got a Netflix special.
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
maybe 2. I don't know. She's incredibly funny.
Mm-hmm.
And her like whole like I don't give a shit attitude. I used to have that, but it wasn't as appealing as hers is. It
On
is
stage.
appealing coming from a woman.
That's what I was just gonna say.
Yeah, it's very appealing coming from a woman to have a woman have the same kind of like I don't give a fuck attitude as a man.
It's different with the men thing. It's normal. It's like us talking about our dicks.
Right, yeah.
It's the same thing. That's just a trope that men do. We're like, oh, I don't fucking.
Right, yeah. So the problem I had with CYSK this week it was packed.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of comics who are hanging out there, and I'm glad that they're there because it's an institution.
Yeah.
I want them to see like what this used to be like. So the Gutter's not doing comedy, I guess, anymore. And now there's the Brooklyn Improv, and then there's a new club opening up in Greenpoint, the Greenpoint Comedy Club.
Do you know who it is?
Is Jeremy Pensley.
I don't even know who that is.
He's here, but then he was in Nashville for a bit, and he's a cool guy,
Yeah.
funny guy from I've done a couple of shows with him, but he opened up this club and it's great, but it's just not like the back of a bar.
Yeah.
The Gutter was like something kind of special. It was
Yeah,
like
of
when
course.
the Knitting Factory used to be in the front room of the Knitting Factory show. Because in the
Okay.
back they would have like DJs and stuff. When I first came to New York, it was Hannibal Burris' show.
Okay.
The first one I ever saw was like Pete Holmes, Chelsea Peretti.
Wow.
I think Chris Rock dropped in one time.
Yeah.
It was just a lot of like, wow, I can't believe I'm seeing this person for free sort of thing. Or there's some comics on there. I was like, oh, ugh. I'm glad I didn't pay for this.
Of course.
Yeah, no offense, but they do have big specials out right now. But anyways, I don't want to turn this into the I'm shitting. That's what this podcast probably sounds like to people, is like I'm always shitting on like other comics, and it's not really the case, even though I do have one to talk about this week.
Nice.
But
I like that.
but last night at CYSK, I was standing at the bar because the place is full, and I had a couple of beers, and it's just like, and I'm leaned up against the bar, and anybody who wanted a drink came up and they felt compelled to ask me to move. And there was one couple, which I was fine with. I just 90-degreed myself or whatever. But even then, people are still just like, we have a problem getting around you. And I'm like, all right, sorry, you're around an alpha. Sorry you're around a fucking big dude. But there was one couple that was there. I don't know who they are. They knew a lot of the comics. I hope they're not industry people, and I hope they didn't interpret like this situation badly. But like they came, there was one spot basically that could fit one person next to me, right?
Yeah.
So the guy kind of like positions himself there, and then he has the girl, his partner, wife, girlfriend, whatever. And she was kind of like almost giving me kind of dirty looks, I felt like, because I wasn't moving for her. Like as if they wanted like my spot too.
Yeah.
And it's kind of because there was nowhere else for her to really stand. So if she's standing in front of him, there's not really like Sarah was actually sitting at the bar stool in front of her.
Okay.
So if she's standing in front of the guy, there's no place for people to walk in and out of. So this woman would have to move either up next to Sarah,
yeah,
or any other place,
yeah.
like a basically a bishop on a fucking chessboard.
Yeah.
They have to shuffle where to go, and I think they're getting frustrated with me, but I'm one of like 9 people lined up against the bar.
Yeah,
and this is where they think like being a big guy has an advantage. Of like where like the trope is my wife always does this thing of called height privilege, because I'm 6'3", 6'4", depending on like if I'm standing up straight, and I'm 300 plus pounds, and it's like so people like don't mess with me.
Yeah,
I lived in Flatbush, Brooklyn for years. My friends were afraid to come over because they would get fucked with.
Yeah,
I would never get fucked with.
Of course.
Yeah, nobody. They liked me.
Yeah,
I was cool.
Well,
Everybody
also.
would talk to me.
Yeah,
yeah. But anyways, but here's the thing is like I think they're looking at me like, well, this guy's the fattest guy. He's got to move.
yeah.
And it's like, no, I don't.
Yeah.
Actually, if I were a girl, would you ask a fat girl to move? No.
It's not airplane rules. Yeah.
Right, yeah. And here's the thing too is nobody said anything. Everything was very implicit based on the looks that I was
Were
getting.
they looking you right in the face?
Oh, at one point in time, the woman did. Kind of looked at me in the face, and I was just kind of like, I smiled. Because here's the thing. If you want something, you can ask for it.
Yeah.
You can ask me for it. The thing that worried me about it was because everybody kind of knew who they were. Like Lisa knew who they were, and Dave Ross and stuff. And I was like, I hope these aren't industry people that at some point in time it comes back to haunt me that I wouldn't move from the bar. But it was implied, and it could have been an insecurity thing that I was feeling about myself.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean it's necessarily true.
But were they trying to stay? Some people will do that and they'll purposefully like look uncomfortable. They'll like stand in a way that's making them uncomfortable. It's like, you don't have to stand like that.
Kind of.
Yeah.
It kind of felt that way a little bit. The guy definitely made eye contact with me. I just smiled. Because at some point in time, if I'm smiling and I'm being polite about everything, that's an open invite for you to say something to me.
Sure.
I'm not looking adversarial. I'm not going, what's your fucking problem? It's like, I'm inviting a discussion. But I'm not going to ask you ahead of time, oh, do you want me to move?
Yeah.
I'm trying to watch the show too. I mean, like,
You're just having a whole argument in your head.
I am. Here's the thing too is like,
But that's fun.
no, it's not fun anymore. I hate it. I hate being this self-conscious about this sort of thing too. And it's like, and it's not just exclusively because I'm fat. I mean, like, I bench more than a lot of people squat. So I don't want, well, maybe not anymore. I don't know. I'm trying to talk myself up, but it's not like
you oscillate so fast from like,
I know.
I'll fuck you up to like, nah, I don't know. I'm a fat retard.
You know what the thing is well, I love asking people 2 things because it just feeds my ego. I'm a little bitch about it, but I ask people, how much do you think I weigh? Because invariably everybody goes 2, and I'm like, yep.
Yeah,
Well, whatever numbers are following, yes.
Yeah.
And then like Derek Drescher one time, he was like, what do you weigh, man? Like 290, 300? And I was like, keep going. He's like, nah.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah. He's like 320. I'm like, keep going.
Really?
This is at the height of the
even
pandemic.
me, yeah.
Right. I bet you I weigh way more than what people think I do. On average, people think I weigh like 290 or whatever.
Yeah.
And then I was like asking people, I was talking to 2 young comics, and I was like, yeah, I moved here to New York in 2012 when I was 33. This comic goes, you were 33 in 2012. And I was like,
Yeah.
yeah. And he was like, you look amazing.
You do look amazing. Yeah.
Thank you. And well, fat doesn't wrinkle. It happened on Tuesday night. I did Aggressively Chill.
Oh yeah.
Fun show.
Yeah.
The young lady we were talking about before the podcast, her and another guy were like, "You're like 36, right?" I'm like, "Yeah,
Yeah.
Sure."
I mean, for sure, you could pass from the same age as me for sure.
That's what I cast as. But
for real.
But I am 47,
Yeah.
and my wife hates when I tell people that.
Why? Because the age is her.
No, she doesn't care about that. She knows she's old, but no, because she doesn't. There was an actor who was on this TV show back in the 70s called Barney Miller.
Yeah.
And he played one of the side detectives. I can't remember the name. He was always delivering straight man funny lines, and very funny guy. And he lied about his age for years in Hollywood because if you say you're older than you are, it makes people think that you're, old and like useless. You can't do certain roles.
Yeah.
So if I go into an audition and I'm auditioning for somebody who's 36, and the casting director finds out or just, asks like, how old are you really? Which I don't think they're allowed to do. I mean, I'm acting and I go, well, I'm 47. That puts something in the back of their mind. Where like, oh, this guy's too old.
Yeah, of course.
And so I don't really, even though this is a public forum, I don't really talk about a whole lot, but you don't ever know what is going through somebody's mind when they're casting anything.
Yeah.
Right. And this is part and parcel to what's going through my mind when these people are asking me in implicit ways to move, which I'm not going to do. But, we shot that after we did an episode last week. Yeah. We did that audition. Mm-hmm. You helped me shoot that audition. And then I shot like maybe two more, two different ones. I don't know. I probably auditioned for about 6 things in the last month. And I've only gotten like 1 or 2. Mm-hmm. And my wife helped me out with one of them. And she was giving me feedback about what she thought I should be wearing for it. And the thing is like, she might be right, but you never have any idea what somebody's looking for.
Sure.
So it's like, it's however that person woke up that day.
Yeah. Or that even, their vision, they're casting a thing in their vision. You can't know their vision.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. I watched a movie yesterday, which I loved, and the casting director was somebody I had to read for a production. Oh, wow. Yeah. And I was like, I worked so hard on it. And one of the commercials that I got within the last month, I recorded the audition within 30 minutes of getting it. I didn't work on it at all.
Yeah.
I didn't like get into character. I didn't think about it. I just like, because my agent was like, we need this like right away. He's like, I need it like by like, later today if you can do it. And I'm like, I got it. I just did it in 30 minutes.
Yeah.
And I got that commercial.
Amazing.
And then, but like for this movie that I auditioned for, I worked on it for days, and I had another actor read with me for the tape, and give me feedback. We did like 6 takes. I picked out the best 2. We went with everything, and it was like I felt like really good about it. I felt really good about the one that you and I did.
Yeah.
I was like, this is shot really well. It's edited together great. You threw it together great. And then I'm giving like the character of like what it is I think that they want. That's how I'm interpreting things. And not shit. Didn't get
That's just how it goes though.
Yeah, you never know. And so there is an inherent paranoia that I have already about being like, oh my God, this person hates me. Or this person thinks I suck, or whatever it might be. And that's why it's feeling like with these people around at CYSK, I'm like, these people hate me. They hate me because I'm fat and I'm in the way. I'm fat and I'm dumb and I'm a loser and I'm in the way.
Do you do therapy?
Weekly.
Wow. Interesting. Not helping at all, it seems like.
No, the therapy is more for like, I don't know, my career at this point. We did talk about rejection this week because I was like, my wife, gives me feedback on some of the auditions and stuff like that. And I'm like, she thinks that if I didn't put a certain amount of prep time into it, that's the reason I didn't get it. It's more of like, you just don't know why I don't get it.
Yeah,
I don't know why. It's not like, casting director Sidney Lumet writes me back and goes, hey, well, here's what you did wrong.
There's a that's art though. And then there's a career. I mean, I've obviously don't know as much as you do, but it seems like there's a level of people that do this that will never make a living doing it, that don't necessarily understand that there is like an X factor to art and like an etherealness to it, that because there's a lot of people that just went to school and they got good grades because they did what they had to.
Yeah.
And it was A, B, C, D. You just do the steps. Same thing in like your corporate world. Like when you have a job, do the right stuff, you get promoted. It's like that's not how any of this works. So it's like the answer is like, oh, you got to do the work towards it. And it's like, maybe you're just not funny, or you're just not what they're looking for. Or like maybe
right, yeah.
Some people just aren't. They just don't. Or the project's not right or whatever.
Yeah. There's a bunch of stories, where people who are famous now who read for different things and they didn't get them, I'm watching this comic book show, Daredevil.
Yeah.
And there's a villain in it. His name's Bullseye. I know this is gay. His name's Bullseye.
You're allowed to enjoy whatever you like.
I do. Yeah. His name's Bullseye. The guy who plays it, this villain, he originally read for Captain America.
Okay.
Back in like 2012 or whenever that movie came out.
Uh-huh.
And now fast forward 12 years later, he's playing this villain character. But, this guy's life would have been completely different if he was Captain America.
Of course.
But instead it went different. And now he's still involved in that world, but he's, playing a different character, whatever. You just never know.
Yeah.
Who was it? Bob Odenkirk read for Michael Scott on The Office.
Okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah. Yeah, there are a couple of actors who read to play that role.
Yeah.
Who else? There are characters who read for Jim and Pam and everybody else. And it's like, you never know.
I've heard a lot of stories too about famous movies and famous TV shows where someone would come in and read for a character and get cast as a different character.
Yeah.
Whether it be the lead or just like a side, a supporting actor or like whatever.
You watch The Sopranos?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. James Gandolfini wasn't originally he was the first Tony Soprano, but who was it? Jackie Aprile Sr., his buddy who died.
Yeah.
Remember he got the stripper for him in the hooker for him in the hospital.
Yeah.
That guy read for Tony Soprano.
Yeah.
Silvio, the guy from the E Street Band.
Yeah.
He read for Tony Soprano. That would have been a completely different show.
For sure.
Yeah. But James Gandolfini was the guy. But who looks more cartoonishly like a gangster? Silvio.
Yeah.
So you'd think, oh, well, this guy exudes mobster. Well, he's not.
He's hard to take serious though.
For sure.
He is, like, even when he's being serious, it's goofy.
Yeah. But don't.
Yeah, dude, I watch that show, and every time, like, when I got introduced to it late, and I was just like, is this guy for real? Like,
yeah.
Because he does stick out like a sore thumb with the hair and the suits and the jacked up shoulders.
Yeah.
But then you just get used to it, and then you're like, oh.
Yeah. Well, there are guys, back in the 90s, there were still guys who looked like that.
Yeah, for sure, of course.
If you go out to Bay Ridge, there's still guys who kind of look like that, or over in Jersey.
Yeah.
I was walking my dog and I walked past a couple of guys who looked like that in my neighborhood for some reason. So, anyways, yeah. So it's, you never know. And I'm at the point though, where I kind of just don't care. Like, there are a bunch of people who got that Kevin Hart show on Netflix and stuff like that. I did a show with one of them this week.
My buddy did, yeah.
I had a great, who's your buddy?
Winston Hodges.
Oh, you know Winston?
Yeah, of course. I started with Winston.
I know. I met Winston like in 2016.
Yeah.
I went down and I was on a tour and I did a brewery in Richmond.
He's from, I think, Richmond, Carolina. That's like where he started.
He was on the show. He's at the Cellar now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I started way after him, but he was in DC when I started, and I always loved crowd work. And so I always loved Winston because he was always just so fast. And he's a worker and he's a good guy.
Yeah, he's a good guy. He works really hard. He's on it, And like, if you think about it, you're like, well, I was on tour when that guy was open micing.
Yeah.
And now he's like at the Cellar pretty regularly. from what I've seen, and he's on this Netflix show.
Uh-huh.
And but he works really hard.
For sure.
You know, and I'm sure we've gone up for some of the same opportunities. There's a guy I was in a web series with back in like 2014. He had never acted before, right? And I remember watching the footage with my buddy who produced and directed it.
Yeah.
And in the web series, it was me, Raymond Cordova, Janelle James, Kate McKinnon's sister, and some other people who are like doing okay or whatever and in the business or in comedy now. But there's this one guy, he was barely in this, he was in this boardroom scene. I think he delivered one line. And I go, hey man, Greg's got something.
Yeah.
And he had never acted before or anything. Now that's like what he does for a living.
Yeah.
He and I, we message back and forth. He'll send me auditions that he can't do. Nice. And I'll send him, we read for the same roles.
Okay.
All the time. He posts his. I never post mine.
Your auditions?
Like if he's like, for example, we both read for a commercial for an undisclosed soda.
Okay.
And it's one of these new fandangled like makes you poop sodas.
Yeah.
And we had to play a character, and he posted just a picture of like, because he's not a comic.
Yeah.
He's just an actor, not just, but he's a talent actor.
Yeah.
He was a WNBA commercial last year. It was great for Nike.
Wow.
And he's a fantastic guy. But he posted this photo. He's like, oh, I'm a biker for this undisclosed soda or whatever on his stories. And I was like, yo, I'm reading for that too.
Yeah.
You know, and I hope he gets it. He'll probably, you know, he might get it before I do. But anyways, so I'm not like jealous of anybody, you know what I mean? But like, I feel like I've been on like what's called good behavior for the last couple of years. Cause as I've mentioned before on the podcast, I was a prolific shit talker about the industry. And I've had a number of different industry opportunities that I've gotten positive feedback on, but it's kind of like whatever at this point, you know?
Yeah.
And so now I'm kind of like, I'm just going to start running off at the mouth again and saying whatever I want. I don't really care anymore, you know?
How long have you been on good behavior? Now you're giving it up?
Years.
Oh, okay. So
Yeah. I mean, it's not even bad behavior. It was just kind of like, I remember one of my top posts, which was what a certain Mr. Flores subtweeted me on, back on the Facebook days, because comics still come up to me and they still go, man, I miss your Facebook.
Yeah.
But I remember doing this show. It was a black show. I was the only white guy on it.
Nice.
And there's one Asian comic on it who's doing well in the industry. And this little bitch, he went through and he just dapped up all the brothers, you know, like, oh, what's up, you know, whatever. And his little Asian weakling. And then he came up to me and he gave me kind of a dead fish handshake. And I squeezed his hand real tight and I go, how you doing, man? Because it just kind of felt like a disrespect.
Yeah.
And I was like, hey, listen, you know, you don't have to like laud my comedy or anything like that. You will respect me as a man.
Wow.
Yeah. And so the next day on Facebook,
you said that to him?
Oh yeah.
Wow.
Next day on Facebook, I posted, I said a lot of comics with 60 seconds on Comedy Central Digital have been way more disrespectful to me than ones with an hour on HBO. I said, I don't give a fuck what some garbage rag says about your comedy. You'll respect me or I'll slap the shit out of you. 500 likes, shares all over. Janelle James, who's very fucking famous now, was like, this makes me wet. Yeah. Like, I mean, like, you know, Eagle Wit shared it. He's like, this is how you talk to another motherfucker. Yeah. And people I love and respect were like, that goddamn right. Because there's a thing I hate about this, especially this passive white weakling comics. Okay. You know, but this guy was Asian, but he's like a Union Hall Asian. Yeah. You know, if that makes any sort of sense. And that was like the zenith for me. I was like, because a lot of my posts were like that. A lot of my posts were like, so I'm getting subbed by Jake. I'm getting celebrated by actual comics. That was it for me. That was like my peak. And I was like, okay, I wasn't drinking then either.
Yeah.
I was like, I've said all I need to say about the industry and the business. It's time to like just move forward and just do jokes.
Yeah.
And then, the pandemic happened, and, all these different venues went away. There's no more UCB. There's no more Creek. There's no more Knitting Factory. Now the Gutter is going away.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's all corporatized shit. I was talking with the club owner last night. They're very worried about Live Nation taking over ticketing for all comedy at some point.
Oh, wow.
Because that's just going to make independent venues like a nothing thing anymore.
Yeah.
And so, but there's always going to be some indie or some backsplash to that, or
Of course,
I would think. And I don't want to lose the esprit de corps of why I started to do comedy in the first place, which was to say whatever I wanted to in a joking manner. If it's funny, it's funny.
Yeah, exactly.
So go ahead. You're gonna say
That's
something?
just so funny. You're angry. Maybe the therapy has been working.
It has been working. I'm not angry like in this. I get.
You don't like to be disrespected.
That's just it.
Yeah, which is fair.
Yeah.
Which sounds fair on its face. It is odd that the comedians are some of the most like, and I it's not everybody, because there also is a lot of nice comedians, but it's dealing with people like chasing their dreams is a very aggro environment.
Yeah.
People are very emotionally tied into this whole thing, myself included. I get depressed. I don't really get mad I get mad because of this place, but not at other comics or not at.
I get depressed, but my depression turns to anger.
Yeah, that's how you deal with it.
Right. Because there's because we were talking before, it's one thing I talked about in therapy this week was like, with my wife's job or my previous job, I used to work in a hotel. It's like you go from, trainee to agent to supervisor to manager to director to GM to executive. Mm-hmm. There's a guy when I started working at that hotel, I started off as a security agent, right? A guy with a fake badge sewn on my polo.
Yeah. And
this guy was a waiter at one of the restaurants. And then now he's slowly moved up. He moved up to like supervisor to shift manager to restaurant manager to eventually became director of food and beverage for the whole hotel, and then for the whole island. It sits on this island, and then he moved on to take over like this whole franchising thing, and now he has like some huge regional corporate job.
Yeah,
because he followed like a path. There's like a thing to do, Mm-hmm. In this business, it's kind of like chutes and ladders where you just kind of like, it's a roll of the dice.
Of course,
you move forward. Sometimes you shoot up, and sometimes or take a ladder up, and sometimes it shoots you back down.
Sure.
And there's no real rhyme or reason to it, outside of, can you sell tickets?
Yeah, for sure.
How much does the general populace kind of like care?
Yeah.
Which leads me to this thing. I'm sure you saw it in the news, the comedy news, but this is the only news I really care to talk about right now. But Louis is back
on Netflix.
Mm-hmm. He's got a new special coming out on Netflix.
People are not a fan.
People are not happy. He's doing the Hollywood Bowl.
That's where he's shooting it.
And I don't know if
is it live.
I don't know if he's shooting. He's headlining the Hollywood Bowl as part of the Netflix Fest, and I don't know if they're recording it there, but the special will air on Netflix at some point. And it led me back down my Louis rabbit hole. Well, when did you start comedy?
The pandemic, 2019.
Oh, okay, all right. So I started comedy, like pursuing it from like an amateur position, I guess. What you can argue that's now too.
Yeah.
But like 2007,
okay.
I would say, like I started to take improv classes.
Yeah.
I remember my first improv audition, like in 2007, I texted all my friends, please come see my improv audition.
Yeah.
Now it's like, yeah, you can watch my fucking special. I don't care.
Yeah.
But anyways, and
I mean, your first year is like a wash anyway.
Sure, my first 4 years.
Yeah, I don't even know what's going on. But
and I think we started, doing the stand up stuff in like 2008.
Okay.
like officially. And the comics that we kind of looked up to at the time, I grew up on like black comedy, but there were like a whole new crop of comics who were really starting to take off, really starting to do the Comedy Central, the Conan,
Mm-hmm.
that sort of thing. The New York guys at the time, and it was like Roy Scovel,
Yeah.
Nate Bargatze, Sean Patton. And there was this cool aspect about like, oh man, we're just doing comedy. This is fun, whatever. And then Louis' show came out.
Yeah.
And that changed. Like, I saw Louis on some Comedy Central stuff. There's one night I had a party, or I was at a party with a bunch of my friends, and we watched Pootie Tang,
Yeah.
which was one of his movies.
Mm-hmm.
And then we watched one of his specials on Comedy Central before I even really knew who he was.
Yeah.
Because that's back when there wasn't as many comedians. Comedy wasn't as prevalent.
Of course. The one where he's in the red.
I
He's
don't
wearing a
think
suit,
so.
But it's like a red shirt underneath.
No.
Whatever. Yeah.
No, it was like a black t-shirt one or
Yeah,
a
yeah.
black shirt one. I couldn't remember which one it was. Anyways, but then his TV show came out, and my friend who worked at the theater he used to perform at was like, you gotta watch this show. And the show is hilarious.
It's amazing. It's a piece. It's art.
Yeah.
That show is art.
Yeah, it really is.
And it's beautiful.
Yeah, and it was a lot of things that I always had envisioned for wanting to do for comedy that I saw like a guy doing.
Mm-hmm.
And then you like get into the mythology of him and his comedy, his art, comedy as art. Sometimes the show wasn't funny.
No, serious.
Yeah, like the Catholic episode one
Mhm.
or whatever. It was like, ugh, but they let him have carte blanche.
Yeah.
He had what's known as the Louis deal,
Mm.
where they gave him a bunch of money and no oversight.
Yeah.
And just you can do whatever it is that you want to do. And that made everybody a huge fan of him. He started winning Emmys, started getting huge and touring. He was already a big touring comic, but he became everybody's favorite comic. And mine included. He was like a big influence on me at that time. And I'd still say, like, artistically, he's one of my favorite comics ever.
Of course.
But you say of course, but nowadays everybody wants you to separate, or everybody wants you to include the art and the artist. And I don't know that I would necessarily, I don't know. I wouldn't go see Louis now.
Really?
Because, well, I've just done like a deep dive into like his public persona. Brendan Sagalow recommended, or we talked about like a Louis doc. There's like
you talking about the YouTube series?
the YouTube one. I listened to
about
it.
like What About Louis or whatever.
We need to talk about Louis.
Yeah.
And
That's
I listened to it, and it's like very insightful.
It is. I was like, I guess it's more relevant. I found it maybe a couple months ago. Someone sent it to me, and I'm addicted to the internet with all this stuff, obviously.
Yeah.
But I was like, dude, shut up. I was like, you're too late. I was like, you're kind of barking up an old tree, and like people have. But I will say, this stuff did not paint him it painted him in a way worse light than the stuff if you had just heard the story or whatever.
Agreed. And then you look at like, I'll tell you one thing that really helped me kind of reconcile it, because I have a particular specific instance with Louis that he doesn't even fucking know about or care about or whatever. But let me get my train of thought here. Well, I guess more or less what I'm saying is that Louis admits to, when you listen to the interviews and they compile the interviews together, he admits to being a liar.
Yeah.
So I'm a prolific liar. Who knows if he's telling the truth about what happened with these women? And I used to be the type of person who was like, I was more on his side when the story first came out, because I'm like, well, they're comics. They were like, him jacking off in front of the two girls. They're comics. They're at a comedy festival.
Yeah.
I don't know if I was like, is this a work environment? I left comedy to get out of, or excuse me, I left work environments to get out of that.
Yeah.
Not that I was looking to assault anybody, you know, or anything like that, but I just didn't want an HR.
Of course.
HR was, in my experience, has been full of some hypocrites.
Wow.
I got felt up by somebody from HR underneath a table at a work meeting once.
Congrats.
She was pretty hot. And, but it was, very hypocritical. HR is for bosses. It's not for employees. Unions are for employees. HR is for bosses.
Heard.
They're just work cops.
Yeah.
Anyways, so I just wanted to get away from that sort of thing. But it's not that I want, and I would say like my reputation from, and what I got feedback from female comics is, as recently as this week, was like my reputation's pretty good.
Yeah.
As far as it goes for that.
Yeah.
You know, they don't always agree with my opinions, but I don't care. But anyways, so when you look at it, it's like, well, they're both comics, but that doesn't mean they need to be subjected to somebody's like bad behavior. It doesn't need to be forced upon them. And it's, it's from all like the sources for the women who've come forward, they've been like, yeah, he really forced this upon us. And I'm just like, ugh, that sucks.
Yeah.
I'm just not like, I'm not a fan of that, and I don't have to be. I don't worry about it because it's not going to happen to me.
Yeah.
But what, you look like you're conflicted.
No, I mean, I'm not conflicted. I agree with what you're saying for sure. I just don't, I don't know. I mean, we don't have to worry about that. So it's easier to brush off for men, I guess. I do think about that with women all the time. Is that like, going home at night or the train's going to take a long time, like that type of stuff is just doesn't occur to me. No one would ever. I've never had an issue in that sense. I'm not as big as you, but I'm not like a scrawny little guy.
Right.
But the Louis thing is just, that documentary is worth watching because it will. That opened my eyes more than me even thinking about that, because I was like, oh, he forced it, but they did end up there. He said he had asked, which if you watch the documentary, that's pretty cloudy. And the interactions I've had with him, which I'm curious about the interaction you had with him, but they have also not been. And I don't want to motherfuck Louis. I would love to have him perform at Grove. So, but
I'm not saying anybody should,
but they've not been great.
Well, speaking of places to let him perform, I forget what year when he started his after he took his 6-month hiatus.
Yeah.
From comedy, when he started to come back, he showed up the cellar.
Yeah.
And, people had issue with it, and he didn't address in his act what it is that was, he was in trouble for.
Yeah.
Saying trouble, but whatever. And that was pretty odd. But the New York Times, I know a reporter there, he asked me to go on record in the New York Times with what my opinion was about it. And would I let Louis perform at the show I had at the time?
Uh-huh.
And I said no. Now, the reason why was because I gave a very nuanced answer. It was like, I didn't know all the facts of everything outside of like what he had been accused of. I said, I would love to see Louis perform, but I wouldn't have him on my show because we work with a lot of the people who have expressed their discomfort with being around him.
Yeah, of course. That's fair.
And as Noam pointed out, it's like, my show is very low stakes. It was in the back of a bar in Bushwick. I don't need to of course I can say no. It would have been better if we said yes.
Yeah.
If he didn't even care. It was just a hypothetical scenario. Because courting controversy.
Yeah.
Controversy gets you more views than doing what's right does.
Of course.
Yeah. I got a lot of negative. You had a couple of incels in my DMs.
Yeah.
Just being like, what the fuck do you know? I was like, oh, shut up.
But that was a time where people weren't fighting with the actual facts of every single incident. They were just mad at the whole thing because it was getting there was some overreaches for sure.
Sure, the Aziz thing seemed like an overreach.
The Chris Hardwick thing.
The Chris Hardwick thing. Yeah.
There was a bunch of people that just got looped in. And at the time, it seemed like Louis was just getting looped in also.
Well, his was like the teetering point because I feel like there were a few after where it seemed like, well, we just don't like you as a guy. Like Aziz.
Yeah.
Aziz is an unlikable person.
Yes. Yeah.
I don't know him. I've met him once, but he was already he was at like when he was like very popular and he had like a handler, but he came to our town and like he did our mic or whatever. And he was, he was famous already then.
Yeah. And he's,
Yeah. And then, now who knows, but anyways, so like Aziz, it seemed like they just didn't like him. Chris Hardwick, it seemed like, somebody just didn't like him. I think the TJ Miller thing was never really corroborated. I don't know for sure.
Jeff Ross.
I mean, what's that?
Jeff Ross had a thing too.
Jeff Ross had a thing. I don't know a lot about that. The TJ Miller one, there was like, he had allegations, which he denied, which I'm not going to say it was necessarily true. But he did, from what I do recall, calling a bomb threat.
I mean, TJ Miller's he's kind of an easy guy to get because he is nuts. He does a lot
for
of
sure.
shit.
I actually think calling in a bomb threat is kind of funny.
I love TJ Miller.
Yeah, I do
I've
too.
always been a big fan.
He was very nice to me. I hosted for him for a weekend when I was pretty new in comedy. He's very nice to me. Nowadays, when we see each other, I think he looks at me and tries to remember who I am.
Yeah.
And I am also really reluctant to walk up to him and go, "Hey man, I feel like there's like something unsaid here." Again, this is all things that are in the back of my brain. That's crazy. Because he looks at me funny.
Really?
Yeah. And because I've said nice things about him publicly.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Because when I first moved to New York, I friended him on Facebook and he wrote me back and he was like, "Hey," I was like, "I don't know, whatever." He's like, I get a lot of friend requests. I'm trying to keep it under. It was like kind of a form letter thing or whatever. And he was like, I was like, "Hey, no worries. I just remember, I hosted for you." And he was like, "Oh, hey." And he was very nice in his exchange with me.
Yeah.
He was very nice in person.
Yeah.
And then, I just talked about how he was nice to me publicly, and then he sent me a friend request.
Yeah.
After a while, and so I have nothing like, I don't know, I don't. All that stuff is kind of inconsequential. I think the thing that I'm talking about though, with the Louis specifically, is that like he is a very funny fucking guy.
He's a genius. I mean, he is a genius.
He is a genius from what I've heard.
Statistically.
From what I've heard, he does drink a lot of his own Kool-Aid.
That is what I mean when I say the interactions have been unpleasant. It's always been in that vein.
Yeah.
He's very, 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 very far up his own ass.
Right, yeah.
But he has earned it.
Well, I think when they were tossing out some figures on how much money he was making to do his show and touring and to make movies or whatever, like he was making just buttloads of money.
Yeah.
Money hand over fist. And when everybody in the world is going, "You're the greatest comic in the world," it has to go to your head.
That's what I mean though. It's like, what do you want?
Right. Yeah. It has to go to your head. So I don't really, I'm not going to ban Netflix or like have a call to action. I'm also not going to support it either. I don't, it's in this day and age of like going online and posting about how you feel about things and, signaling your virtue about stuff. I'm just not really interested in that. But I don't fault people for not wanting to go or having an issue with it. It's your right to have an issue with it. It's your right to be vocal about it. I know a lot of people are very vocal about it, and then they're very vocal about TJ Miller online, and then they go open up for him.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. Or, maybe if Louis called me right now and it was like, "Hey, would you like to open up for me?" I'm like, I don't think I would. I don't know. It's again, these like sort of hypotheticals. It's like, would all the people who I'm, consider to be friends, would they walk away from me at that point?
People don't care, dude. One of my best friends is not my best friend, but a very good friend of mine it opens for Louis and Mike, and nobody gives a shit. Mike's the sweetest guy on the planet.
Yeah, Mike is a good guy.
And nobody thinks anything about it, but he's with Louis all the time.
Right? Yeah.
It's dude, people don't really care. They're just getting incensed, and honestly, like, I don't know. I just think it's odd. Louis not in that. He's none of your business.
At what point, though, do you get to be forgiven as an artist?
What do you mean as an artist? Because that when you said separate the art from the artist, I think that some of the people that get mad do not understand that great art does not come from well-adjusted people.
You know what? There have been really bad people who have like performed open heart surgery.
Yes.
Yeah, they're really bad people who deliver your mail. There's really bad people who cook your food.
And that's the other side of it. And I know it's like virtue signaling, but the idea, and I'm a terrible addict and like have done a bunch of shit I'm not proud of that I've had to like, figure out. But everyone pretends like they don't have stuff. I'm like, who the fuck are you? I know that you do stuff that you would never tell anybody.
Yeah.
Like in your private time. And
Yeah,
it's like,
yeah,
so
yeah.
to pretend like that side of you doesn't exist
Yeah.
is nuts to me.
There are some of the best moral character people that I know or have met in my life, through the military or whatever, have dropped bombs on children.
Yeah.
Because that was an order that they were given. We do live in a very morally complicated world. And I think like it would be, it's kind of like, I think if he had come forward and been more contrite in his apology, and I think a thing that documentary did a good job of is highlighting how he shifted the conversation as to, oh, they don't want me around because they want to silence free speech because he had that Parkland bit or whatever. Well, it's like, no, the reason they didn't want you around is because you were bad to women.
Yeah.
And I don't know, like Jen Kirkman, she had a lot of things to say about it, about him specifically, because she was like opening up for him or whatever. I'll say this, like, none of my friends have ever asked me to do anything really egregious in terms of opening up for them. Nobody's been like, nobody's even forced me to drink.
Yeah.
Or anything like that. But again, it's like, I'm a dude. I can't imagine what it's like having a woman out there. And you do, and another thing though too is like, you want to champion women and your peers or whatever in comedy. But sometimes you take a woman out on the road with you or whatever, and then your wife or significant other has been like, why are you taking this young woman on the road with you?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Of course.
Why aren't you taking like, some old bag, or something like that?
Everyone's fucking. That does happen though too.
Sure. Yeah.
Because couples go out together, like people. I assume when I think I don't know if it's 50-50. Maybe that's a misogynistic take, but I think it's up there.
What do you mean? What's 50-50?
Fuck. Are headliner comics fuck when they go on the road? Not necessarily cheating or like, yeah, but you're married. But if you're a single comic or one of the people is
if I was single, for sure.
Or if you're a headliner and the girl's maybe talking to somebody, but you're out, you guys are with each other all the time. It's like people are people also, and comics are not normal people, and they're impulsive, and it's a very stressful thing to be on the road and you're tired. You have multiple shows, and it's like your adrenaline's all up after you do multiple shows, then you're hanging out at a diner, and then you have to go back to a hotel. It's a very easy situation for you guys to end up together. So to assume that is not crazy.
But what he did though was not just consensual between two people, And at a certain point, how much can you apologize for that? It is up to everybody's own discretion. That's the thing about living in a democracy and a free will society. It's like a lot of people just said, you know what, we're good with it now.
Yeah. And
you have the right to ignore it. So, that's not the type of like attitude I'm going to have as far as like when I'm saying I don't care anymore and I'm going to be a bad boy. I'm not even going to be a bad boy. I'm just going to be myself more.
Yeah.
But that doesn't include jerking off in front of anybody. And there is that documentary did like a decent job of like kind of highlighting that it is a condition of sorts that some guys go through. As far as like the exhibitionist sort of stuff.
Yeah. I get it.
Sure. Yeah.
I'm a man. Like I get the impulse to do something gross.
I don't know about gross.
Not gross. I wouldn't call it gross, but it's like, to do something that other people are just your sexual proclivities are private for a reason.
Right. Yeah. Nobody wants to hear it.
That's his bit though. He's like, Obama knows my thing.
Yes.
Great
yeah.
Great point. It's very funny.
Right. And and I also want to say though, there are situations that I've been a part of where if you were to write down what it is that I did or the other party did, just write it out in black and white, you'd be like, wow, these people are gross and they're bad people.
Yeah,
but there's so many other circumstances that surround it.
Yeah.
I'm sure there are several women who are like, oh, he didn't call me after we hooked up, or he didn't want to be my boyfriend or whatever. And it's like, yeah, well, we talked about it and I wasn't in a good place at the time or whatever. And there's some women who were like, well, he did exactly what I wanted him to do.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, and it's looked upon down. You know, now those women are mothers.
That's what, I know. Yeah, I think about that also.
Yeah. So, but you know, with experience comes regret. And looking back on a lot of that stuff, for me personally, I wish I had never engaged in most any of it. I was living in a world where I grew up in a very like specific environment that was bad for me between the ages of 1 and 12. And it led me to having like a very shaky moral framework for a long time. Now, my stepdad, my mom were great parents. My stepdad was really a good male influence on me. But that doesn't mean if a woman came along that I wasn't susceptible to whatever that woman wanted me to do.
Of course.
Or say, I remember when I was a teenager, there was a girl who used to live in our neighborhood who my mom, she was older. My mom was like, stay away from her because she's going to want to like take your virginity, basically. My mom was very much like, I know. I was like,
don't tell me that.
Oh,
that's
no.
a warning.
Yeah. And so it's not just like a gendered thing. There's something that happened to me when I was 16 or 17, and an older woman. And I, wish I'd never been a part of any of it.
Yeah.
And so, but you don't learn that thing until you find out like the positivity of the other side.
Exactly.
My wife and I, where we're at now, I mean, we're in a really great place now in our marriage, and who we are with adults is who we are comfortable being. If we had this mental mature mindset that we have now in our mid 40s, if we had that, like a lot of adults do at 30, we'd have completely different lives now.
Yeah.
But we arrived to it when we arrived to it. We're not bad people now, you know?
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's just kind of the funny thing because like I'm on Threads, gay Twitter, and I think that was a Sagalo one, gay Twitter, and you get to see everybody's opinion.
Yeah.
All the time. And like one girl posted something to the effect of like, you guys really fell for it with Louis. He is a bad person, but because he crafted this persona for public and on stage, now you think like you know him and you've really been duped. And I'm kind of like, well, wait till you hear about politicians.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know.
Like all of your Democrat heroes, Hillary Clinton, Bill Clinton. What do you think they were? What do you think Obama was? What do you think a lot of these people are? They're bad people who crafted a thing that you fell for.
That's what that is. They say that Sarah and I had this conversation last time we talked about politics because we didn't usually get along. But I think that having done bad stuff in your past is something you should be grateful for, because a lot of people don't understand. There are a lot of people who would do bad things. They're just kind of a pussy. They just don't have the constitution in them to do it really, but they have those thoughts. Mm-hmm. And they take them out in like weird ways. People are passive aggressive and like this and that. But if you do some stuff that you have to then apologize for, and you've sat with that, and you've hated the person that you've been or the things you've done, you understand the capacity for people to be good and bad. Right. And you understand people don't exist on one side. Yeah. So many of the people I disagree with think that the world is good and evil, and it's like that you're retarded.
Yeah. Most of the world is gray.
Yes.
Yeah.
If anybody that you love has also done unspeakable things. Maybe not to the level
unspeakable, but
I mean, maybe not to. Maybe they'd prefer not to speak about it for sure. Mm-hmm. Everybody has stuff that they don't want to tell anybody else, and if you live in that world, you understand like things are much more complicated. So when someone's like, "This guy's a hero," I'm gonna go canvas for them. They're gonna fix everything. I go, okay, like like sure, but you don't know them. Like they're
Right.
not. They're lying.
Right.
Everybody's lying all the time,
Yeah.
and that's fine.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's just there are things that people just are embarrassed about. They don't want to be public facing. I understand that.
Sure, but
And this guy went through it where he had to put everything out like publicly.
Yeah.
So,
I just assume everyone's good and bad.
well, yeah.
Some people are more than one or the other, and those people you have to write off for sure.
Right. Well, here's the thing. All of you guys need Jesus. I mean, I say that half jokingly, but I do appreciate people who have like a moral compass. Now, some people use Jesus in ways that I think are bad.
Of course.
I won't specify what those bad things are, but they are bad. And there are some people who use it, as a moral compass to be like, how can I be a better person? That sometimes doesn't come along until you fucked up enough to realize, I was a bad guy. Who I am at my age now is not at all who I was when I started comedy.
Yes.
Speaking of unsaid morally complicit things, I saw the best movie I've seen in a long time in the movie theater yesterday.
Yesterday, what'd you see?
I saw The Drama.
No.
Did you see it?
The ads made me be like, absolutely not, never.
It's a great movie.
Fuck, I hate that you said that.
I love it.
That makes me so mad.
I won't spoil it
to
for
not
you.
like it. It's worth watching?
It's absolutely worth watching. I mean, for me,
I trust your opinion though. That's why it upsets me.
Well,
because I want to hate things based on.
Here's the thing: is I don't want to spoil it for you, but the movie is about a couple's getting ready to get married.
Sure.
Robert Pattinson, Zendaya. Do you think Zendaya's hot?
Yeah,
I do too. I saw some Twitter guys who are Threads people are like, oh, she's what are you talking about?
No,
she's totally hot.
People don't get it.
Yeah, she's like the biggest star in the world right now.
I didn't know that. Yeah, I know people. Yeah, I know she's a big deal, but fame's also just escapes me at this point.
Sure,
it's too
but
segmented.
She was in the movie I saw yesterday, and then playing in front of that movie were at least 2 trailers for more movies with her in it. New Spider-Man and the Dune movie. I love the Dune movies.
Franchises. I haven't seen them either.
Yeah, but then she's in Euphoria, which is coming, like that TV show. I don't watch it, so I don't.
Sure.
But I know a lot of people who watch it and they love it. But who?
No, you love it. You can just say.
I've never seen it.
Yeah, sure.
I've never seen it. Although I hear Sydney Sweeney shows her tits in it.
Oh, now I'll watch it.
Now I'm gonna watch it.
Yeah.
Now I'm gonna watch it till that point. And then I'm gonna turn it off.
I'm just gonna Google Sydney Sweeney twits after that.
I know. Yeah.
So what about the movie? They're going to get
so
married?
anyway, so this couple's getting ready to get married. They're at like a wine tasting, to decide what wines they want for their wedding.
Uh-huh.
And the couple that's like in their wedding with them, they say, "Oh, we're gonna go around and say what the worst thing is that we ever did." So there's no secrets or whatever about our marriage or our relationship or anything like that. And the couple share theirs. Now the couple opposite them, it's a black fella and Alana Haim from the band Haim.
No idea who that is.
She was in One Battle After Another. She was in Licorice Pizza.
I know One Battle.
Yeah. From what I understand, very nice person, I guess, according to what people are giving me feedback on Threads.
Okay.
Because she plays the most detestable person I've ever seen in a fucking movie in years.
Okay.
I hate her.
Wow.
I hate her character.
Though, right?
Yeah. Fuck Rachel. That's her character's
Yeah.
name. And I actually posted a picture of her from the movie, and I said, I've never hated a person more than I hate this person in this movie.
Okay.
She's an absolute piece of shit.
Wow.
And the only comp that I can think, all right, so Robert Pattinson gives his thing,
Mm-hmm.
and his thing is actually pretty bad too, of what he did that was bad, but it was like kind of like, borderline like internet trolling or whatever. And then Zendaya tells her thing, and her thing is bad.
Yeah.
It's very bad what it is that she has alleged to have done.
Yeah.
But this Rachel woman, she did something really bad as well. But and you can kind of debate what the consequences of it really were.
Okay.
Like who actually had the worst thing, because Zendaya's thing didn't actually go through. It's what she attempted to do.
Yeah.
She attempted to do something horrible.
Yeah.
Rachel did something horrible, but it's less horrible than what Zendaya tried to have done.
Yeah.
But Rachel is like on her moral fucking high horse about it.
Yeah.
And ruins everything.
Okay.
And in a way, implicitly or subtly or whatever, and you just fucking hate her.
Yeah.
And it causes Robert Pattinson to do like some bad things or some stressful things, and it's funny. It's a lot funnier movie than I think that it's led on to be or marketed as.
The trailers are very they don't really tell you a whole lot. The
Good.
ones I saw anyway.
Here's the thing that I think I said this before on this podcast, but they need to. I think I said that they need to stop giving away the movie, because if they had said what Zendaya had done in the trailer, it would have made the movie much less interesting. The reveal. My buddy who's a huge movie fan, I texted him. I was like, "This is my favorite movie I've seen since Begonia." And he was like, fuck, now I gotta go see it. And he was like, it's so funny because the story is centered around this. And he knew what the reveal was already. And I'm like, man, it sucks that you know that.
Yeah.
Because it's the central inciting incident for everything.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I'm gonna watch it now. And Begonia. I haven't seen Begonia either.
You never seen Begonia?
No.
Begonia's awesome.
I'll watch that too.
Begonia's awesome.
Alone.
I'm sorry?
I said for Stav alone, I'd watch it. I know he's not in it really, but.
No, he's in it.
Not a lot though, right? Good.
Yeah, I don't know, like 10 minutes or something like that, but like, and his character is, like consequential to the film in his own way. And I want you to give me your opinion about Stav in the movie.
All right.
Yeah. Love Stav.
Yeah, of course.
Very nice to me. He probably would forget me if I ran into him again. Every time we've hung out, he's been super sweet.
He's the sweetest guy.
Yeah, he's a very nice guy. I love how he takes care of JP.
Yeah.
Because JP McDade is one of the best writers, comics in the city.
I love JP also.
Yeah, JP I think should get way more flowers
for sure
than he does. And I love that I went to JP's special recording at the Bell House. And Stav was super sweet to JP and everybody around him and everything. And it's funny to see somebody really champion their friends. I love seeing that.
Stav is one of the few people that I've interacted with because he's been here a few times. We've had him, and he just is who you think he is. There is no, and he takes a lot of pride. I don't even know if he takes a lot of pride in that, but he's not uppity. He hates all that stuff. He hates the celebrity culture. Like,
yeah,
he's just like he's stayed so grounded.
Yeah.
And surrounds himself. Like his podcasts have people like, it's like Wolfgang's on it, Anthony DeVito's on it. Like these people that you wouldn't necessarily think that he surrounds himself with are like hometown Astoria, like local comics that he like loves genuinely, like his friends.
Wolfgang did it?
He did a Patreon episode as a co-host.
Oh, okay.
He was like the fourth mic on that.
All right.
We'll cut that out.
No, I don't care. No, I don't care. Wolfgang's great.
Fucking guitar now, so
I know Wolfgang's great, but Wolfgang is somebody who's, I think his brain's been poisoned by the internet.
Me and him I get along with Wolfgang. He's a mopey guy though.
Very.
Yeah, he's a mopey guy. He's always like, I don't know. And I'm like, all right, Eeyore.
I mean, I get that. I can identify.
I get that too,
yeah,
but it's
And the reason why I say all this about Stav is because in the movie Begonia, he is not believable as a cop whatsoever.
Yeah. He admits that though. The interviews I've seen him do about Begonia is like, yeah, they just let me be me, so I don't. But anyway, the drama is worth watching.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah. And I don't know if I'll keep this thing in the podcast, but it was really cool. I'm watching the opening credits, and it's produced by this company. It's a production company called Square Peg. And I talked to their finance people on the phone once, and then it's cast by this woman who I've exchanged emails with and submitted auditions for or whatever. And it's really cool to be in a place in my life where I am like, oh my God, I'm one step away from the movie screen.
Yeah.
And it's not a brag. It's just that like, I never thought I would be in a place in my life. All right. So I did an open mic on Tuesday.
Mhm.
Monday, I had a colonoscopy.
Congrats.
Right. Well, yeah. No cancer.
Nice.
There's polyps. Have you ever heard of
Yeah.
polyps in your asshole or
Mhm.
whatever? My buddy told me he had 14.
That's a lot.
Yeah, and he said they nipped them all in the bud, and I'm thinking that like, oh my God, I'm gonna have at least like 4 or something like that, because I hear that a lot from guys my age who go to get one.
Yeah.
You know how many I had?
0.
Fucking 0.
Damn, son.
0. I have a very healthy colon. I am the picture of healthy living. I had an EKG recently. I have a healthy heart. I have a bad leg. I went to an orthopedic surgeon on Wednesday. I'm going back to see him again next Wednesday.
Oh wow. Yeah, you said you were going to the doctors getting your.
I'm getting myself fixed. Yeah, because I went hiking on Tuesday and it was a mess.
In what way?
I'm out of shape.
Yeah.
My cardio is bad. We took my dog, and my dog is so awesome on the hike. She was so happy.
Sweet, yeah.
I was so excited she would run, and she would run like maybe like 40 yards, and then she'd stop and just look and be all happy, waiting for us, and then she'd run back. It made me so happy.
That's awesome.
But while I'm in the office waiting for my colonoscopy, now I have to put on a gown.
Mm-hmm.
They bring me into the back. There's a separate waiting area. There's the waiting area in the front with everybody, and then you have to come back to the back. You have to change into hospital gowns. And the lady was like, "You got to take everything off, including your underwear, because they're about to insert something up my ass." and then the day before, I had to fast, so I didn't eat any food.
Yeah.
I drank broth.
Nice.
I had Jello, and then I had to drink like a solution, and it's almost like it makes water really thick, and it's supposed to like dry everything out, and then you take a stool softener, so you shit your brains out, so you go in completely empty. And I probably lost like a couple pounds.
Nice. Honestly,
it felt pretty good.
Yeah.
I was thinking about doing it again just to shed some weight. You know what I mean? Anyways, so I go in, make it past the first waiting room, go to the second waiting room, I change, and they give me a hospital gown, and the hospital gown is not going to close in the back.
Yeah.
At all. I mean, like other people were walking out, and they didn't separate it by gender. There's women walking around in their hospital gowns. There's men walking around, but there's me in the back. So the woman had to put a second one on over the other way. And I'm just sitting, and I'm sitting in this cold leather chair with my balls hanging out. And there's a TV playing, right?
Yeah.
This TV is playing on loop all these different like medical commercials, right? And I look up, and there I am on the TV. That commercial that I was embarrassed. Yeah, the diabetes commercial was there, and I'm like, oh my God. I'm in a waiting room because I'm too fat for just one hospital gown. My balls hanging out, and now there's a fat commercial playing with my fat ass in it. And thankfully, nobody like looked up and went, "Oh, isn't that you?" Nobody did that, thank God. But anyways, so the next day I went to that open mic where I saw Sarah.
Yeah.
I went to an open mic, and I kind of did a bit about, my career sucks or whatever, I'm in a colonoscopy, I'm in the office and I see a commercial with me in it or whatever. And then everybody kind of came up afterwards and like, "Hey man, you're in commercials and stuff. Your career doesn't suck."
Oh, yeah.
It's just kind of like, you're actually doing like great or whatever. And I'm like, all right, sure. But like, it's not like, I'm not, it's a dumb non-union commercial.
Yeah.
And I'm embarrassed that I'm in it. And also, they're like, you got a commercial. And I'm like, well, no, it's one of several. Thank you. I worked really
snap right back to
yeah,
your ego snaps back in.
Yeah, I worked really hard to be this unsuccessful.
That's so funny.
Anyways, I guess the point of me of talking about that is like, I'm very conscious about doing comedy where it seems like, I don't want to brag.
Yeah,
it's nothing I'm really bragging about, but the problem is it's because it's other comics are listening to it.
But a lot of the comics look up to you.
No, they don't,
especially at a mic.
Well, what I'm saying is like a normal person would probably hear that story and go, "Oh yeah, he's an idiot" or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But I think other comics go, "Oh well, must be doing well. You're not jealous of, or like I'm inspired by. Who knows?
Yeah,
I don't know, but."
Of course you feel like that. I feel like that. I mean, dude, I think you're doing. I mean, I've known you since I've been at Grove, at least, and I think that you're doing better than ever. And it's awesome to see you out on the road and in commercials, and you're doing all this shit. It's dope. From the outside looking in, it's like you are doing well. I know it never feels like that, but we talked about that on a couple weeks ago, where it was like gratitude. You are doing the thing that you wish you were doing 5 years ago, 2 years, whatever.
Right. Yeah.
And it's like once you get there, you realize how much work it is, and you want something else already.
Yeah.
I was talking to Winston about this before. I had Winston on my podcast when he had first went full-time comedy. And this was in DC, and I just started, and he was like a guy I looked up to.
Yeah.
And he said the same thing. I said, how cool is it to just not have a job and go full-time comedy? This is like the pandemic. And he was just like, he goes, once I got like 6 months away from knowing that was the case, I had other stressors. I was already worried about other shit.
Yeah.
And so it's like gratitude is like, that's everything, dude. Like,
yeah.
Fine. It's just fine. Everything's fine.
Right. Yeah.
I was setting up for this, and I was like, this is cool. This is my life. This is my day.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
It's cool.
Well, that is it though. It's like, going, in that same line, me watching awesome. This movie and seeing people on the screen, their names on the screen, these production companies on the screen. It's like, this isn't a brag, but there's two ways to look at it, or there's three. I mean, there's several different ways, but like I could look at it and I could go, God, that should have been me, or I'm so close yet so far away. That's a negative way to looking at it.
Yeah.
Then there's it's really cool that like I'm in the mix of this world. A lot of people are. I'm sure I'm not the only one who looked at this movie screen and go, oh man, that could have been my shot or whatever.
Of course.
But then there's the worst thing, arguably the worst thing of it is to look at it and go, yeah, that's right, motherfucker. I'm next. I'm all about that shit.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people who do that in this business.
You need a little bit of that, I think.
You need a little bit of that, but that's where I really like Stav, is that he is pretty humble about this stuff, and I don't want to be that guy of being like, that's where I'm the greatest.
Yeah.
There's
also something funny about comedians that are like that, because it's like, you're a clown.
Yeah,
Stav always says that. Like, you're just telling fart jokes. Like, you're not.
Yeah.
Shut the fuck up, dude.
Objectively speaking, you're a moron.
Yeah. You're a clown. You have the easiest job. Like, your job is to make people laugh.
Right.
To do it artistically and to have great bits is a different conversation.
Right. And well, that's the other thing too, is I want to work on. I've got for the special that we shot, God, what month is it? It's April. We shot that like 2 years ago.
Yeah. I was looking at it the other day.
Well, yeah, it was really was like 2 years ago, was it?
Yeah, I think so. Rob still had hair.
Rob still had hair. And that whole special is 52 minutes, including like the crowd work, or 55 minutes. But like, that was like 1 page of jokes.
Mm-hmm.
And I've already got 2.5 pages of jokes that I need to like do that I need to whittle down.
Yeah.
To 1.5 pages of jokes. And that's the thing that sucks about the Louis thing, to wrap this up, is because I like in that documentary, and then also just I follow Louis on Instagram, and like I'm listening to his stuff, and I'm like, man, I'm really inspired by this act.
Yeah.
By this art. And it like the vulnerability of him is what makes him so compelling.
Yeah.
Patrice had that.
Yeah.
I have two totems that I kind of look towards in comedy. And one of them is not very well respected, I've found over the years in comedy, at least by a lot of other comics. But one is Patrice.
Of course.
Because Patrice is speaking from how he feels about things. And then the other one is Jeselnik. I love Anthony Jeselnik, but I find myself in the minority of that. Rachel McCartney is a huge Jeselnik fan. And that makes sense because she's a great writer.
Yeah.
But I want to have a world where the two kind of meet, where this is really great writing with being vulnerable and also
Super
feels
honest.
like it's in the moment sort of stuff. And so that's where I'm like want to head to next.
Yeah.
With everything. And that's the goal. So anyways, all right, well, let's wrap this up. By the time this comes out, where am I going to be? I don't know. I'm going to be in Atlantic City this weekend. That's going to be fun. And at Rodney's Comedy Club, I'm doing Don't Tell with good old Cody Marino.
Yeah.
Cody, I ran into Cody. I ran into Cody at the Grizzly Pear, commiserating. I love Cody.
Great guy.
Yeah, great guy. I love Cody Marino a lot. Give him a shout out. If you're hearing this by any stretch of the imagination, come to the Flop House, East Village Flop House. It's 83 First Avenue in the East Village. I believe it's at like 1st and 2nd, maybe, something like that. I know you don't know where it is. You're shaking your head like you don't know. Jess Levin and I have a show called Feral Friends. Yeah, we're doing a show. It might be the only one we do. It might turn into a monthly. We're going to see how this one goes. We're going to see how it feels, but come see it. Micah Fox is on it. Tim McLaughlin. Jill Wiener's hosting. Zaid. You know Zaid?
Yeah.
Zaid's on it. And then me and Jess Levin. And maybe a special guest.
Wow.
Yeah, we'll see who's available.
When you decide to move it to Grove, then.
Yeah. Well, I think for Grove, I want to do something else, but we'll see. So anyway, so come see that. Follow me on all the socials. Again, thanks to Scott. Peace.